Titanic was built in 6 individual sections, and when joined together would create the illusion of one giant 8.7 meter boat. It was a lengthy process, and you couldn't just fit it into any sort of room. I mean, you needed space to accommodate it. So for months and months and months I was playing musical chairs with the different sections of the ship throughout my house. The stern of the Titanic also took quite some time to build. I think I spent the majority of the time contemplating how I was going to go about doing it, because I really had to think about what would be the most logical way to construct something like this. I can do this. Come on, you can do this. You can do this. Early on, I had devised a system where I would draw and plan a deck in the mornings and then physically do the construction part in the afternoons. Section 6, the stern, just like Section 1, the bow, triangulated inward with one crucial difference in design. It was round at the top, curved at the bottom, tapered inward towards the rudder and flanking propellers of the ship. It was a very iconic feature of White Star vessels at the time. I ran out of the usual thickness of aluminium sheeting that I would generally use to construct a section of Titanic hull, and I was forced to build it with a slightly thinner aluminium sheeting as a compromise, which worked out well because the stern of Titanic actually was rounded and bent and shaped into this graceful overhang, and a thicker aluminium sheeting would not have done what the thinner sheet did. So the first thing I really needed to do was figure out how I was going to keep the stern of the Titanic upright. Just like the bow, Section 1, it also tapered inward in a triangular fashion, and it couldn't support itself in an upright position. It tapered inward from all directions. Of time, and then it hit me. I was going to build the thing upside down. It made the most sense because it was easier shaping it bottom side up than myself being on the floor drilling upwards and riveting upwards at peculiar angles. It could be turned right way up again once the stern had taken its shape, and then the decks could be loaded and constructed inside it the usual way. I built with the speed of light because I was so over it. I couldn't wait to get to the top of the boat deck because that meant that the project's end was in sight. On New Year's Day 2017, the Titanic was officially complete. It had taken 3 years. But there were still a million things to do. I couldn't wait to take a step back and just say, who am I? You must remember at this point, as her artist, I had never even seen the Titanic from end to end. Space was really becoming a problem, and it was obvious to me that it wasn't working in my house anymore. I had to come up with a different plan as to what I was going to do and how I would accomplish that. It just so happened that the design center, which was my old carpentry classroom at Villiers High School, was standing empty. No one was using it, and there weren't enough kids in the school to make use of that building. It was big enough, and all it needed was a little bit of repair work. So I called up the board and the principal, we had a few meetings, and it was decided that the design center could become the home of TINTANIC for up to 5 years. All the room really needed was a little upgrade. A bit of paint, some filler, and it was gonna be fine. Spick and span, good as new. In exchange, we would launch the TINTANIC from within the design center, where she was dreamt up nearly 2 decades earlier. That also happened to be the very first time that we moved the TINTANIC. And let me tell you, the first 5 sections came out of the studio and they were waiting on my lawn to be transported. When the stern section had to come out of the studio, that thing got stuck in the door. It got hooked on a rivet and it wouldn't budge. It just refused to come out. I was this close taking out the windows of the studio to get that thing out of there, when at long last the stern slipped out of the doorway. This is why the TINTANIC was built to specific width dimensions, so that she could fit through South African doorways. And it wouldn't be the last time that she had trouble getting in and out of a place. In June of 2017, the TINTANIC was launched by Mr. Redmond Taggart, the great nephew of Thomas Andrews, the designer of the original Titanic in 1912. I think TINTANIC is a real rags to ragtime story. She's the ship of my dreams. And for her to come out of that little town in the middle of nowhere, in the heart of the Freestate, and make it big, it's unthinkable. The journey that we have had. I hope that she can serve as an inspiration to countless artists, enthusiasts, and entrepreneurs. That you can reach for your dreams and do whatever it is that your heart desires. If you put your mind to it, you can achieve great things. Greatness can come from anywhere.
We would Gino. Oh, the old standard 6. Now they think it's the standard grade 8. There's Gino. And at that time already, he was driving some of the staff at the school quite crazy. Because he's already, at this age, he was busy with Titanic. And there you can see some of our teachers. This is there, Johnny, there's still there. And there's Gino, up there. At that time we called him Eugene. And now he's our very famous Gino Hart.